50 Shades of Jian.
Yeah, this CBC or this ex-CBC radio host who nobody ever heard of here in Canada or anywhere else in the world before this whole scandal. So he's in his limelight. He's in his heyday right now. If it wasn't for this scandal, nobody ever would have known who he was.
Yeah, that's if you tune in the mainstream media, this is what they're all talking about.
Yeah, that's one of the top Canadian stories. Some obscure ex-CBC Communist Broadcasting Corporation, funded by your tax dollars, radio show host, engaged in some kind of weird S&M in his personal life. And some women are alleging actual abuse from this man. But again, I mean, if it wasn't for all this, nobody ever would have heard of him, because I never heard of him. Nobody I know has ever heard of him. Nobody listens to CBC radio that I know of.
I don't.
No, nobody does. So nobody knows any of the hosts. There's nothing against him or, It's like this whole hype is like a desperate cry for help of CBC radio going, look at me. I exist. Look it. I'm actually here. Tune in. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in trouble, the CBC. They've got,
how can they be in trouble? Aren't
they
getting $1 billion of our tax dollars? How much are they getting?
Yeah, well, apparently that's all going, it's got to get cut back. They lost their marquee show to the Hockey Night in Canada. That got bought out for them, so now they don't even have a main show. and they're in trouble. Like, I guess they're still going to broadcast the games there, but it's Rogers owned or something. And it's basically because Harper's involved. Like, his job is basically to privatize the CBC. It's not really to end the CBC. That's the Conservatives. And then once Trudeau gets back in, though, then they'll probably start refunding them.
Right.
Because now they're just buying a lot of private stuff, like trying to turn it into a channel that's more like CTV or the other ones. And it is like
a private-public partnership.
Exactly. They're
P3. Not privatize. He wants to corporatize it or corporatism or fascism.
Yeah.
It's not the same as saying, the CBC should be privatized, because that's an argument that could be made on either side. I mean, but that's not really what they're arguing for. They're arguing for, like CTV, they get taxpayer money. Global News, this private-public partnership. They get some subsidy, and, so their masters will be partially government and partially corporation.
And it's to globalize these companies as well. That's why you see on every TV channel that is all global. It's all different countries. You can see almost anything on one channel practically. So it's all going global. Yeah.
And that's where the media is important too. That's where they socialize the media or whatever. The taxpayer funded CBC and TVO is owned by TV Ontario. So it's like each province has their own one they subsidize, and that's because they can say that it's for the culture and community and building up news and awareness and stuff, but really they can it's a lot of influence on people. So with this story, this Jian Ghomeshi one, you can see in it, they're promoting this violent form of sex, the BDSM, they call it, or whatever, S&M. And even 50 Shades of Grey, they even started promoting it right away, like Jian Ghomeshi, before he was even accused or charged, he came out with his own Facebook explanation, talking about how he enjoys the 50 Shades of Grey type of,
Well, I mean, if it's consenting adults and it's none of anyone's business. The minute, it's not consensual and somebody has been assaulted, then it's an issue of criminal proportions. That's the whole thing with that. Yeah, if he's engaged in whatever he does in his bedroom is his business as long as it's consensual. If the minute somebody says, hey, I didn't consent to this and he hit me or he did whatever, then you're you belong in an orange jumpsuit. But I don't know what actually happened, but there's seems to be some allegations going on here. But again, I mean, this guy's in his heyday. I mean, why even give him any attention? All this attention is all the attention he was ever going to get. And so, why give him the attention in the first place? He's a nobody, and why not let him remain a nobody?
Yeah, this makes sure, the more famous he is, the make sure he still gets a job after, because CBC won't hire him back, but he'll get, a satellite radio or...
Yeah, I'm sure Howard Stern will be begging to interview this douchebag just to find out, oh, what did you do in your bedroom? I'm sure.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'm
50
sure
Shades of Jian.
he'll use this to try to further his non-existent career that he already had. Like, it's not the death of his career. He didn't have a career. Nobody ever heard of this guy. Nobody listened to CBC radio. So now he has
Kathleen Wynne had heard of him. That was another
from Moxie
thing
Fruvis. Yeah, but I mean, other than Moxie Fruvis, no one heard of this guy.
Exactly. Yeah, some old rock band that he was in that they used to do play at some of the protests or some of the the organized protest movements on in the 90s when Ontario was run by the Conservatives.
Yeah, weren't they just some one-hit wonder that fizzled out?
Yeah, I assume so, because I don't even know their music really. And this guy's been doing the radio show for like a long time, since the early 2000s. So that's why they're saying it was the most popular radio show. So it was a big deal when they fired him, and that he launched this $55 million lawsuit, which apparently is it's a false lawsuit because he doesn't have the grounds to sue. Since he's a unionized worker, he can't launch his own individual lawsuit. Like the union would have to represent him, and they're apparently not going to represent him most likely because there's the CBC employees are included in some of the women that he's accused of attacking or harassing. So it's like originally I just thought it was a big thing where nothing was really going to happen. Like it was just a big mind game that they're trying to just promote this BDSM stuff as a normalization thing, and maybe the 50 Shades of Grey movie's coming out soon. So the book's already a bestseller, but now they got the movie coming out soon. They got to promote that. But then now they've almost a week later, now the Toronto police have finally said they're going to start an investigation. He hasn't been charged, but they're going to start it, so there could be charges in it. So in that sense, it's like there's a headline, or it's a tension-grabbing story because some of the women, like one of the women is from the Trailer Park Boys, so she's famous.
Yeah,
and then some of the other women could be famous too, just because of the circles. Like, basically his show, he would just be interviewing famous rock stars and stuff, cultural celebrities. So who knows who these other women are? And
yeah, if it was just any other Jane Doe, it probably wouldn't make a big difference,
mm-hmm.
Right? So, but it has to be somebody within the circle type thing, Yeah.
Rex Manning Day.